여러분 안녕하세요. Obviously, a lot of you guys that follow me are Korean language learners yourself. One of the most asked questions I get is like app recommendations, like over on my TikTok channel. Over on my TikTok. A lot of you guys are always asking questions about what apps you can use, or like apps that I used for studying Korean or for vocabulary. And as always, your Only has got you covered. So today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite apps, websites that I use to study Korean. Okay. No more talking. 시작하자. So the first app that I use is going to be Quizlet. I know, wow, shocker. Actually, most people use it for like school studies. As most of you know, you can also use Quizlet for language learning. You're able to make your own flashcards on there. So if you are trying to learn type of vocabulary for that moment, you can make your flashcards and then you can just study that way. I do that a lot. My tutor, he gives me so much vocabulary each time that we meet, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. After each session, I'll type in like or write down the vocabulary that he's given me, and I input it into Quizlet and I make flashcards to quiz myself on all of the words that he gives me to study for that time. One thing I like to do is to find other flashcards from different users and learners. As you guys again know, or maybe you don't know, maybe this is the first time that you're hearing about Quizlet, you're welcome. With Quizlet, you can find anyone's flashcards at all. You just have to type in like Korean flashcards or Hangul flashcards, etc., and they would pop up. There is no subscription needed. It is free. This sounds like a sponsored video, and it's not sponsored by any means necessary. Don't need a subscription. You can use their website, their app for free. If you do want to buy a subscription, I believe the perks that come with that is like you can quiz yourself more or something like that. If I'm being honest, it's not really worth it. The next thing is going to be Naver. It's a Naver dictionary. I believe a lot of people, like a lot of language learners or people that are sharing like their knowledge about Korean language, they do talk about Naver, but I honestly feel like people don't talk about Naver enough. As a Korean language student myself, when I first started learning, I was mainly using Google Translate. And while Google Translate is not bad per se, it does not give you a accurate representation of how native Korean is spoken. For example, if you type in the word like, how do you say you in Korean, or you 한국어로 어떻게 하나요? It would say like 당신, and that is how you say you, but most Koreans don't use that. Naver is actually a lot better because it gives you a more accurate translation of Korean language. Sometimes some things in Korean, there isn't a literal English translation, but Naver gets you as close as you can be. And one thing I really like about Naver is that once you type in a word or anything, with that comes like little mini phrases or things that K-pop idols have said, things that are said in the news, so you can see how the word that you're looking up is being used in like average everyday Korean conversation. Obviously gives you the ability to hear how it's being said, because some Korean words, they look a certain way but actually sound differently. And it's free, oddly. The next app is going to be, I talk about this app so many times on my TikTok. It's going to be the app Memrise. I think Memrise is probably one of the best apps that you can use to study Korean. It is amazing for listening practice. I believe last year I actually had the subscription. I purchased it. I believe it was like $40 a month, or no, $40 a year. But with the subscription, you can get like listening practice by watching certain videos of natives having a conversation, and they'll quiz you on like what was being said. And like, it's not like slowed down Korean, it's like native casually speaking Korean. It was challenging, but it helped me like be able to improve my listening skills. I've talked about it so many times on TikTok if you want to see those videos of like phrases that I've learned, because Naver, while it's also great at vocabulary and like listening practice, it gives you so many phrases, and not even just like the typical like 안녕하세요, 감사합니다, 이름이 뭐예요. Well, they have that too, but they have like certain phrases that you could easily, like you wouldn't even think about learning, but you can use those all the time. Like there's one like 그냥 보고 있어요. Like 지금이 뭐예요? 그냥 보고 있어요. Or like 뭐 찾아요? Like there's just they have a section like about K-pop. You can learn how to ask your friends or people on the internet like who's your bias or which group do you like the most. It's really, really good. It really like drills what you just learned in your head. It will ask you over and over and over and over again, like what does this mean? 무슨 뜻이에요? How do you spell this? Like it works every single part of your brain in regards to learning a language. While I would recommend the subscription, this is not sponsored, I also really did appreciate the free trial because you still get a lot of resources, use a lot of their features without having to pay anything. I would always recommend the free trial first because I love free things, as I feel like you guys do too. Always go the free route, and then if you're able to, if you want to experience like the subscriptions, then try it. But most of the time the free route is like the better option because you get the same thing. Another app that I literally just started using last year, actually I didn't really know about it, is the Kindle app. Okay, hear me out. I know the Kindle app is like not anything new. Like a lot of people know about the Kindle app. You use it to read books and to read audio. I mean, you don't read audio. To listen to audiobooks. But up until recently, I realized I could buy a lot of my Korean language books on my Kindle. You guys know your 언니. I am a lover of Korean language books. I have a obsession with Korean language books. 근데 가끔 비싸요. So to save money and, you know, to be a smarter adult, I realized I can get most of my Korean language books on my Kindle or like on my iPad for half the price. I just bought a book. I used it in my recent video, my recent study vlog video. It's the Talk to Me in Korean sentence building book. I got that on Kindle for $9, I believe. The book normally is like $25. When I realized I can get all these books on my iPad, like an ebook, it was like a brand new world. If you are someone that wants to buy a lot of books, but sometimes, again, books, shipping costs, it can just be really expensive, I would highly recommend using Kindle. Just download all the books on your iPad or on your computer or whatever, and then just buy a little notebook and do the actual like practice in a notebook. Okay, the next one, I mean, you don't need it, but I just love it. It's for my iPad users. One thing that I use and that I would recommend you guys use is GoodNotes. GoodNotes is just an app that you can get on your iPad and take really pretty, aesthetically pleasing notes. I am trying to learn how to take good notes or to be a good note taker, but it's a little hard. I have been using GoodNotes because I've thrown away a lot of my notebooks because I am a hoarder when it comes to notebooks. I buy too many, I don't use any. So GoodNotes, I'm just able to structure everything, make it more neat and more pretty. If you are interested in finding a good app where you can take notes on your iPad, then there you go. There you go. You're welcome. Yeah. So the next app that I use is going to be Talk to Me in Korean audio. As we know, Talk to Me in Korean is probably like the king of freaking Korean language learning. They do offer an app that you can use to listen to almost every single audio from all of their books. Most of Talk to Me in Korean books, they always have audio examples or like conversation practice, but you can listen to the audio. And downloading it on your computer, all those audios can be, one, very time consuming, but also take up a lot of space on your computer. If you're like me, I don't have that much space on my computer. So one thing I started doing was downloading their audio app. So while I'm using a book, it helps you keep everything organized, because having to like look through your computer and find the audio, download it, then click on it, it's too much. The last app that I recommend is going to be podcasts. I know, the podcast app. But there are a lot of, especially now because with the rise of Korean culture, what do they call it? The K-wave, I think. With the rise of Korean culture lovers, Korean language learners, that comes with the rise of Korean language resources and entertainment. And one thing that has been popping off, it's always been here, but I feel like it's like, is Korean podcasts. Obviously they've talked to me in Korean, but there are also a lot of other good podcasts that you can listen to. It's great for listening practice. Yeah, if you just kind of want to familiarize yourself with hearing the Korean language being spoken more naturally. But while like K-dramas and like K-pop and all that stuff is good, it is better just to listen to natives just speak in a casual setting, because then you can start to familiarize yourself with the speed at which they speak. As we know, Korean is a very fast language. Listening practice is probably like the most important thing. Obviously speaking to you, but listening, because you have to be able to understand what is being spoken to you. If you want to listen to Korean being spoken casually, I would definitely recommend podcasts while you're at the gym, if you're at home, even if you're just studying. That's what I do now. I'll put some sort of video podcast on where literally the Korean language is just being spoken in my ear. Do I understand it? No. And if I do hear a word, I'll be like, oh, I know that one. Use the podcast app, download some really cool podcasts. These are some of the podcasts that I listen to and that I recommend for you guys to listen to. It's also good, yes, for listening practice, but for intonation as well. Maybe I'll do a video on that like later. But intonation, people talk about pronunciation like regards to Korean language, and while that is extremely important, intonation is just as important. That is the way to help you like sound more fluent in Korean, is intonation. I promise you it is. Maybe I'll do a video about like intonation and like how to fix your intonation, because from what I've heard, I have good intonation. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. That is the end of the video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there is some apps that I've missed, or what are the hello, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up, comment down below telling me annyeong, and also telling me what are some apps that you use to learn Korean. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked that. Yeah. 여러분 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 여러분 봐주셔서 I always would recommend Tati. 경고 힘들었어. As we know, most of talk to oh my god. What?
So everyone's mad. Okay. They're like, it's basically